Aren't you glad? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Going Over podcast. It's just me, your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, promoter, 43, almost 44. Got that one out of the way early. Professional wrestler, Zack, primetime Reeb. And I am joined alongside, once again, as always, we say it, it's not episode 69 again. I'm never going to stop going back, drawing back to that one. It's my life podcast partner. It's my podcast partner, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. Paul, what is up early morning on the Going Over podcast?
Oh man, not a whole lot. We just on the heels of the first night of the first ever 2-day event last night.
SummerSlam.
So yeah, I mean, we were talking about that, and I was just letting you know that I don't watch a whole lot of WWE and things like that. I catch it when I can, when I'm not busy. But my girls wanted to watch it, so they came out and hey, it's on. Let's go. We're watching this, so we got to sit and watch, and like you just said, fairly lackluster, but finished with a bang, right? And we always kind of talk about that, that we don't necessarily remember different things like that, but we remember moments that happen. So I don't know about you, but when Seth Rollins got hurt, it didn't look like anything like devastating, but it was just like, I don't know. I heard so many people going, "Oh, he's not really hurt," or what if this is a work or whatever, And I feel like when my watching it with my girls, we were just, when Seth Rollins' music hit, I was like, "Oh, I heard someone predict this, that he was going to come out and cash in,"
Easy prediction.
So, right.
Easy prediction. But let's move back and start. Let's start at the start. You know what I mean? Let's break it down real quick. And we literally opened up with 18 minutes of entrances for one team because 53,000 at MetLife, and Jey Uso is going to crack this baby open, and he's up in the top of the bowl area where the concession and the t-shirts and merch is. And boy, I love it when you go through the curtain at these big stadiums and you look at Jey Uso and you go, this motherfucker has a long journey to get to this ring. And the fans love him. He's over. And I was saying yesterday, we haven't even seen the pinnacle of what was to come out of this bloodline storyline. Like, I knew when they did the match for the tribal chief during COVID and he was main event Jey Uso, I said, something big's going to come out of this. And that world championship he got over Gunther was just by nature, by the fans. You had to get him over because if you didn't, you'd kill his babyface heat. He didn't need to be the champ that long. And then Reigns came out, the ones went up, and Roman took there was a lot of miscues last night. And what I mean by miscues is like Jay jumped off the top, and Roman was in the middle, and Braun and Bronson were on each side of him, and Roman took the, you know what I mean? Roman took the hit from Jay and from Jay coming off, and then they dropped him on the plancha, and then Bronson went through the rope on the plancha, and the most exciting part of the match was at the start, and they dipped him out of the ring, and then they restarted the Jey Uso thing. So, it's entertainment, man. You just talked about it, the moments, right? So the fans are there for the moments. They're there for the characters. They're there to have a good time. And it doesn't mean there's a bad time too. That's why there's the heels, obviously, because they were doing this again. And then one of Braun or Bronson drug Roman out of the ring. But it's the opening contest. It's SummerSlam. and there's all kinds of planchas. They're spearing them through the fucking they're spearing them through the rail, the padding railing over there. They're jumping on the tables and putting. So they're doing a lot, and we always talk about that in the opening match. And you know how I feel. What do you feel? It's SummerSlam, first of two nights. They got the big stars out there to kick things off. Do we go 30, 40 fucking minutes and go through the barricades and dive over the top, dive through the middle, off the top of the corner to the floor? Do we do that stuff because it's the open? Do we not do it because it's the opening contest, or do we do that?
Well, I thought it was overkill. Like, I thought, oh, this match is going forever. It's at some point in the match, you look at it and you go, what's left to do in this show, right? You got all these fans, but what I thought was crazy was during the entrance, I had to turn to one of my daughters and say, is this event actually starting? Because I don't hear his entrance music, but it was because the fans were so loud that you couldn't hear the entrance music. So I thought that was kind of a, the event started off on a huge high note like that. So, but yeah, man, I thought it was definitely overkill in the first match. Like, this is the get the fans going, but I mean, but I guess it was mission accomplished because they did get the fans going. But I was going to also ask, you mentioned a couple of the dive outs. Just is it people get overshot on the catch, right? Because you anticipate a guy only jumping a certain distance, and when a guy jumps over your head and you're trying to safely make the catch, it's like, like, what do you do in that situation? What causes you to do that? What causes you to jump so much further than you think you're going to jump? Because I feel like in both situations, on both of those dives, I felt like it was both of them were overshot, almost dangerously, where you're just like, wow. Is it an adrenaline thing? Is it, is it poor catching? What is the deal there? Because
Waiting.
They're
waiting. They're waiting
right.
for it.
Right.
The dive out is something that the dive out is a peripheral vision thing. And we've gotten away from the peripheral vision thing. So a lot of wrestling, the timing's off in it because we're staring and waiting. One of my, actually not one, top 5 pet peeves is you got kick pads on, kick the fucking opponent, right? Number 2, definitely on that, is not feeding into the cross body block off the top rope, the high cross body. I cannot stand when the guy's climbing up to the top and he's not even stood up yet, or he's still trying to gain his balance and stand up, and the fucking opponent isn't like feeding and looking and then feed into it. He's just staring at him. Come on, get up there, jump. Like, why don't you go hit the rope and knock him down and strut him or grab him and do something to him? You're fucking looking at this guy. Right. You're going to let a grown-ass man climb to the top rope and you're going to see him do it and go, huh, oh, he's going to jump he's going to jump out and fucking land into me and crash me. I come crashing down into the mat. So it's just timing. They're staring, they're waiting, they're touching each other. They're like, oh, guys, he's up there. And we're all just looking at him. So it's just a timing thing. I think on that one dive out, they stepped in.
Okay.
So that's why he overshot him. They were actually, I believe, in the correct spot. So there's your 40-minute opener. It's SummerSlam. I went outside and took a little cardio break, if you know what I mean, for a minute in that, because I got my entrance, and then it was lagging a little bit for an opening contest. And then match 2, we went to the women's championship match. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't fall asleep very long, but I fell asleep twice And when I woke back up for the finish, that's when I had to go make myself a cup of coffee, because I was like, man, I got people here. We got baby back rib, fall off the bone baby backs. We got bratwurst. We got all the goods here. And if I don't stay awake, Ethan Reno is going to go into the kitchen and he's going to eat every last bit of food, because that is a very large 18-year-old growing boy. I got a funny story about that too here after this. But yeah, tag and tag. We opened up SummerSlam with the tag and tag. So at this point, I'm loving the ambiance. I'm loving the company. I'm relaxed, but so far I'm going, it's just an okay event.
Right. And I think I'm on the same page. There was nothing jumped off the page. And, as you're talking about that match, I'm thinking that I don't remember any moments from that. So I might have also fallen asleep. So,
Well,
but it's just, good.
They told a story. They're telling a story with those girls, like they're friends, but they're not friends because they got a 10-year friendship from NXT. The show after the post show, when they were both on the stage, a lot of good questions were being asked with the fans behind them. So they got a real good story there. I'm actually interested in that. I actually like Raquel and Roxanne as the tag team champions, with Liv coming back. So I see him telling that story. So there's a story there. They're actually making the women's tag team titles and that division, right? They're actually doing something with that, and I can see it starting to form. The match 3, man. I watched none of match 3. I saw the highlights. So that's the thing here. I took a breather in match 1. I fell asleep for briefly, like I just fell asleep, had to make coffee on match 2. And match 3 was Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. And all I can say about that one is Zayn's almost got a 6-pack. You know what I mean? Like, Zayn's almost got a 6-pack. Zayn wins. I don't know where he goes from here. We'll figure that out. World Championship is something that that story with those two have been teasing. So we'll bypass match 3 unless you have something to say about it real quick, because I did not watch that one.
No, I mean, the one thing that stood out was after the win, Karrion Kross, it just like caught my eye. Like, he had his hand on Sami the whole time. Like, he's covering him. After he gets the win, like, I just felt like he was reaching out and grabbing him, and it just like, it was something that was unique and different, right? Normally you get beat, you're just laying looking at the lights, but for some reason they were staying connected, and I didn't know what it was, but and maybe it's nothing, and maybe it's something that leads to something in the future. I don't know, but they were like, that's it, we're finished, type of thing. So who knows? But that was just something that kind of one of those.
They're going somewhere,
right?
Everything they're doing, they're going somewhere. And here's the problem with slow storytelling, right? Because we're going to finish this recap. It's not going to be your normal. This is never going to be your normal SummerSlam fucking Monday Night Raw recap where we just go straight through it, because we're going to hit points that we need to talk about. And here's a good one. WWE, Triple H, them, whoever, they're going somewhere with all this stuff. And we as fans are very impatient. So just like I'm saying, lackluster SummerSlam, I had a good time. I don't know if it was because I was hot and I was barbecuing for everybody, and then this thing starts and you get the big entrance and match 1 goes a little too long. But they're going somewhere with this stuff. And today, the modern fan and modern wrestling, there is so much wrestling that we have to consume every week. And I don't mean we got to consume it in order. We're consuming this fucking product. We're like, oh shit, I got to go back and watch Saturday night's main event. Then I got to watch Evolution. But then there's All Out. Like, every weekend, there's so much wrestling for us to consume. And I could go into the programs, or I could not, but we as fans were moving so quick through this that we're just ready to digest the next thing. And old Hunter over here, old Triple HHH, those guys, they're telling like this Sammy storyline with Karrion Kross has been going on for a long time. They're probably going to hit us with something really good at the end that could lead to Sami Zayn becoming a world champion, and it's probably going to lead to Karrion Kross getting himself over real well. And the thing about it is we're not able to sit and digest what's going on because there's so much going on. So that's what happens with the storytelling sometimes, which for a company like mine, for a company like yours, indie companies around here, if we are to slow it down and focus on the production and the storytelling, then it's better for us than it is for them, because they don't have the time or the space capacity up here with the audience. They got to keep it moving.
Right. Yeah. And I think that that's something that's I don't know, like, I mean, you think about like old school stuff that, you had storylines that would go on for, upwards of a year, but at the same time it was, you only had 4 big pay-per-views. You had, maybe you just had WWF, and maybe WCW was sneaking into the mix, like as far as television wrestling that you would watch. You would watch maybe wrestling on Saturdays, and then as it got a little bit further in, then you started getting Monday night stuff, and then you had Monday and Thursday, and it just, like you said, man, we're getting bombarded with so much wrestling product to take in, and it's like now it's what type of wrestling do you like to watch? Do you like the storytelling of WWE? Do you like the fast paced bunch of high spots AEW stuff? Do you like Japanese wrestling? Do you like lucha? Like, so many options for people to watch. And if you're watching everything, then it is you probably get to that mindset where you're just like, is this thing over yet? Like, what are they doing next? You're not patient enough to wait for a long drawn out storyline. So I don't know. I mean, we talk about doing that a lot, right? Like, how long can you draw something out? How long can you keep the fans interested in something? And I don't know. I think I like it when you get the callbacks to different things happening where you go, fuck, man, they set this plan in action years ago, or months ago, or whatever it was, and it's like, you get the callback to something happening, and you go, oh shit, that's right, that did happen. That could have been the start of this whatever storyline. So it's just, I think it's just depending on the fans' perspective. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of SummerSlam reviews that people are going, oh, it was amazing, right? And we're going, oh, it went too long, lackluster, all this different stuff.
Well, I was watching. I watched the first 5 minutes of Limelight, and we've really. Sometimes I'm so busy with the training and the next show and the promoting, I don't really focus in on my own product, and that's party foul for me. But I tuned in this morning before this, I was sitting on the toilet taking a shit, and there it was. I saw we had views on it, so I clicked on it, and I'm watching the start, and Doc Haywood has done a fucking masterpiece with this Sergio referee storyline. And I almost forgot, because I talk about the elongated storytelling. And sometimes if I don't go back and view this 2-week, sometimes 2-week lag that we have when this stuff airs, because to the online audience it's coming at a completely different time. If I don't go back and view the lag and what Doc's doing over there with his fucking wizardry, if I don't, I remember the story we were telling, but the story finished at Pandemonium, right? With Dickie and Sergio, with Chico as the ref. But I had forgotten that Larry, Karina, and Matches I had strategically started this storyline, when me and Sergio were talking about it, and it was to really help Dickie get comfortable. Sergio was like, "Hey, I can get Dickie comfortable." As gross as that sounds, but the first ref was Karina, and the second ref in the second match was Matches, and the third ref was Larry. And each one of these matches kept building and giving this guy a reason to complain and say, where is Chico Lopez, right? Where is the senior official? And there was a promo that I said, hey, I need this promo filmed. Sergio filmed the promo. We put these matches in order over the last 3 or 4 months at the summer stroll, at the church, at Limelight, the first one we did. And you lose track of it. I lost track of it. I remember we did it all, but I didn't remember it being put together in the package. And then I tuned into Limelight with the promo that Sergio filmed with Chico Lopez, and then the match on Limelight and the finish. I literally watched the start of the show. Doc fucking put all these finishes with commentary over in like a little video package, which kept switching to Sergio talking to each one of those referees in the one promo, which led to the promo where Chico came in, and it all tied into me. And I was like, wow, what a fucking story. So where I'm sitting here going, what's next for Sergio? Chico Lopez. It's right there in fucking front. You know what I mean? I'm giving it away right here on the Going Over podcast. But then I see my promo with Dickie, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, the first fucking 3-4 minutes of this program with an entrance video, wow, the storytelling. So I'm forgetting where we're going because I'm writing so far in advance that the things that happen back here. And I sit here with Doc on the phone all the time, and I'll say something, and I'm like, why is Doc Haywood reminding me and telling me how stupid what I'm saying is, like, right now? And it's like, because this motherfucker is not only calling commentary, he's sitting in front of this screen editing 8 to 10 hours a day. So when I go, what if we do this? And he's going, why the fuck would you do this, Zack? This is where things are going. And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for the reminder. He's watching the product more than anybody's watching the product. And man, go watch the start of Limelight, because I find me someone. The stories are going places, but Doc Haywood is putting these fucking stories. He's making a masterpiece out of this shit on the indie level, man. It's fucking crazy. This guy is probably one of the best things to happen to professional wrestling in a very long time. And that's not a biased comment. It's just, look at how much fucking work he's putting out.
Right. It's crazy. As you're talking about that, I was just having a conversation with one of our guys yesterday about the guy Dale that puts together all of our video stuff. And it's very similar conversations. It's like I'm talking to him about something going on, and then he's reminding me that something that happened several months ago, and I'm just like, man, you're so on top of what's going on in this company that it's just remarkable, but he's a huge wrestling fan. He's also doing the same thing as Doc, right? He's sitting in front of his computer, and he's editing this stuff together. And, he's got the back catalog of all the different wrestling that's happened and all the matches and things like that. But it's funny to me that it's like, oh, well, I was thinking about doing this match, and he's like, oh, well, that makes sense because, 8 months ago, this guy beat this guy. So it would make sense that, they wrestle again and stuff like that. So it's just like, it's crazy that happens, but it's very much because we're focused on what's going, trying to put stuff together for the future. And then, we sometimes forget the little tidbits that have happened in the past. And in the past, we did it intentionally, with the future story in mind, but then sometimes you lose focus, or you forgot that you did something, and getting that little reminder is always comical to me, because he's just like, well, I was trying to think of if it was, I think it was Dickie beating Travis, Like I think the first time Travis was here, Dickie beat Travis. And then, you get to the point where Travis is champion and all that stuff. And he keeps reminding me, well, Dickie did beat Travis. It's like, so there's a reason that he could, realistically have a title shot and some of that. And it's like, I don't know, just things that you forget happen because it's like a match that didn't have significance months ago now potentially could have significance. So I don't know. I think that's kind of a cool thing.
Well, that's what I say about the importance of production, right? Is you can't call back something that happened or call back a rivalry if you don't have the footage of what you've done before for the rivalry. So it's like there's so many things in PCW. Not only can we call back from 6 months ago or a year ago and lead just perfectly right into something that's going to come up, but we have stuff. We have a catalog all dating all the way back to like fucking 2002. You know what I mean? To the territory days, especially. Like we have this incredible catalog and promos and storytelling that sometimes if something is missed, like I can't go back and watch it. Like I can go back and watch the build-up video between me and Jacob Fatu, but the match itself that we had at Extreme Measures, I don't know where to find that. I don't know where to find that matchup. I don't know where to find Sin's first championship win against me and Will Roberts, where he pinned me to win his first PCW championship. I don't know where to find that. So this back catalog, the production of this, like everything that Buck sent me, Buck's been so busy, sent me all the Limelight, all the graphics that I asked for Limelight. He sent me Blueprint. He sent me all the graphics for fucking Blueprint. He's over here and we got to have another poster for we have so much coming up, man. And that's something that I looked at the other day and I was like, man, how much has my life changed since I went through this program of recovery and started really focusing on myself in life. And I always go back and I remember everybody. I remember Rick. I remember my coach. I remember everybody telling me, "Hey, I think this was last year around June, mid-May, June. They said, we think you need to take a break and focus on yourself. Just take a break from the wrestling." And I remember I had talked to my sponsor and my sponsor said, "Is this your passion?" And I said, "Yeah." "Does it bring you joy?" "Yeah." She said, "Hey, if you give up what gives you joy, brings you joy in your passion, sobriety loses its appeal." And this substance abuse thing, sorry, I'm going there. It's a love story, man. We end up spending time, whether it's drugs or alcohol, gambling, food, sex. We end up spending so much time, more time with this than our friends and family and our jobs, that we lose the love of our life when we stop doing it. So we have to have that replacement addiction, and wrestling has become the replacement addiction. I'm so glad I got that advice because I've just fell fully into this thing, man, and I'm just loving where life is going right now, man. So it's very busy. And we need these guys. We need these Doc Haywoods. We need these Bucks. We need these Dale Cliffords, these Dark Neons. We need these Randy Hochderfers in the right situation. Like I've always said, I don't think Hochderfer should be sitting there with the camera in the fucking audience. I think he should be the production guy for a wrestling company. You know what I mean? So that's where my head is wrapped around as indie wrestling is starting to evolve in 2020, heading into 2026.
Right. Well, and yesterday at training, there was a long story that was being told because we had our guy Devin that won the answer the call contest to win free training. So he was there yesterday, and the Dark Neon was there, and so some things were going on in the ring and stuff, and questions were being asked, and I was just like, it was once again to the callback. I was like, man, when was the first time that I met this guy, Devin? Right. And I was just like, you know, so we stopped and I say, hey, how long have you been around, man? I said, you were around in 2010, right? When we were in the grocery store or whatever. So he's just recalling all of this information about, you know, he came in and started training to be a wrestler, took a break, came back, took a break, you know, trained with you and all this different stuff. And he's just like, you know, Zack back then was different, right? He was drinking and, you know, and then he was talking about me. He's just like, you were, you know, I always thought you were an asshole to me. You know, you were, you know, I always thought you were a dick and all this stuff. And he's just like, you know, I wish I would have started training MMA earlier because I just didn't know what being coached was. You know, he's like, and looking back at conversations that I had with Zack, conversations I had with you, he's like, I just realized you guys saw the potential in me, and all you're trying to do is get me to live up to my potential, you know. And he's just like, I'm excited to see what this new coachable version of me is going to look like with this new sober version of Zack. And, you know, looking at me as a coach and saying, like, I can see that you've got my best interest, you know, in mind. All you want is for me to be the best version of myself. So it's like this big full circle moment. And, you know, like you said, if, you know, you don't get to the place in life that you're at, I don't get to the place in life that I'm at, then, you know, Devin doesn't get to experience the two of us in these spaces as well. So, you know, it's real life, long-term storytelling in this specific situation. So, and it's just cool that I get to see, you know, what I remember of this kid, you know, 15 years ago, and then what I've kind of seen over the years. And then the version that I got to see yesterday was like this culmination of maturity, MMA training, all the wrestling stuff that he's gone through. And it's just a cool thing to watch and see. And I'm hoping for the best for the future, that it's going to turn into something special, and it's going to be a hell of a story to tell moving forward.
That's what it all is. It's excuse me. It's a story, right? Like he messaged me yesterday and he was telling me all this stuff while I was sitting here with the guys watching SummerSlam. And I remember telling him, I love this for you, man. And I said, see how crazy this is? Like how much we've gone through and how much we've matured and who we are now as people. I was just talking to Sin yesterday, and we were sitting out there talking, and we talked a little bit this morning too. And it's like, this is crazy, man. This is like so many people. I remember when we were in Winnemucca and Buck came up to me in that bar. What was that bar called again?
I don't know.
On the spot. Got you on the spot.
I was.
Travis or something like that. But we're in the bar. Cool little bar. Everyone's there. All the wrestlers meeting the guys from Oregon. And Buck comes up to me and he's got tears in his eyes and he gives me a hug. And I think he's just drunk. And I think he's heading back to his room. So he's like, oh, man. I'm like, you out of here, bud? Good night. He's like, no, we still got 2 hours. And I go, what? And he's like, I said, what's wrong with you? And he goes, man, I've never been accepted like this. So acceptance is such a big part of pro wrestling. And a lot of pro wrestling comes from like not taking advantage of these guys and these girls, leading them in the right direction. I was the shittiest leader of all time. I was still the fucking leader, but I was the shittiest leader of all time because I wasn't up here. I wasn't in the headspace to lead, you know. And I had a really good conversation with Sparky Ballard yesterday. I always, at least once a week, make sure we talk for a couple hours, and it goes a couple hours. And one thing he said to me yesterday, and I'm kind of jumping here because we're talking about the referee stuff. And he said, you know what I hate? I hate when the heel cheats and then sticks around after the match, stays in the ring. He's like, and it was a great one of the, my eyes like, yeah, he stole something, right? He should get out of the fucking store. Security should be chasing him. So if you're a bad guy and you're going to cheat to win the match informatively, get the fuck out of the ring. At least make the ref go chase you down. It's the same when the little underdog babyface wins and he rolls out of the ring and the ref rolls out with him to raise his arm. The heel should take off. He cheated. Leave the baby face in the ring to be like, oh, leave the baby face and the ref in the ring, or make the ref go after you and raise my arm and get out of here before he has a chance to reverse the decision. Leave the baby in the ring with the referee to come back in and get the fans, get the real sympathy, get the heat and get the real sympathy behind them. And I just thought that was just such a every day, man. Every day we're learning, right?
Of course. Yeah. It's definitely, we always say when you stop learning, you should just quit, right? Same. I don't know. I always think about being nervous going through the curtain, right? When you don't have those butterflies, you're not a little bit nervous going through the curtain. You're probably not as excited about the business as you should be. So there's a lot of those little subtleties like that sometimes get lost or we overlook. And I think we need to kind of focus on those things and how, those little things are the big storytellers, the little subtleties. Like I was just talking about the carrying cross thing, right? It was just something that I noticed that stood out for some reason. I don't know why, but I just, but it's the subtlety things. So I don't know. I don't know if is that something that can that be taught? Can you teach the little subtle things that you need to do? The little, I don't know, those little things that mean so much.
I had a situation. I was talking to Doc was saying like, this is the format with these characters and referring to the unwanted, right? And he said, well, this is what I've been saying on commentary. And I said, why? We know nothing about these guys. From the time their vignette started, their faces were covered. They were misfits, disregarded from society. You know what I mean? Their first match promos graphics were their faces were X'd out. They were wearing masks and we don't know nothing about them. So you as a commentator and me as the promoter too, me as the guy writing this stuff, we have to realize like we haven't heard from Christian Sky. Brandon Nash is very outspoken. We're just now seeing what Annabelle's about, but it's like Sky, who has taken these two under his wing, we haven't heard from him. When he wants to talk, he will tell us who these people are, because that's the lights go out. They're mysterious. Like we're just cracking into what these characters are. So it's elongated story. We got to see how this gets over. We got to see how the fans react to this stuff. So just so much different stuff that I've been seeing. And then now real quick, the Ethan Reno story, right? So the kid goes in here, gets like 12 baby back ribs, 2 fucking bratwursts, a thing of chips, comes down, sits here, eats it all down, gets back up and goes in and comes back out with 8 more ribs. So as he's sitting down right next to me, I'm looking at this massive plate of ribs, which is going to put him near 20. You know what I mean? And I look up at him to say something about that. And he's got a white powdery substance on his nose and it's all around his mouth too. And I'm like, what the fuck is all over your face? What's that powdered sugar all over your face? And he looked like a kid who got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He was like, and everyone's looking at him now, even his mom. And what he did was, on his way to get another huge plate of food, he looked on top of the mini fridge and saw my dad's powdered donuts, right? So he decided that he was going to just sneak a powdered donut in record time, walking back with his 8 ribs. And I just thought it was so funny because, he's black. And he's got white powdered. and then Sin's over here, and you cannot let that motherfucker catch you doing anything like that. You can't even slip the wrong word in front of this guy, because you got about 30 minutes of verbal abuse coming your way, and you're not getting out of it, man. You got to get up and walk away at that point. But I just thought it was so funny that Reno thought it would be that he could sneak a fucking big powdered donut in without anybody knowing. And it's like, yeah, you are a young 18-year-old kid, because it's all over your face, man. We talked about it the other day, the Snickers bar wrapper hanging out of your pocket, chocolate all over your face. Like, where'd my Snickers bar go? I don't know. Snuck himself a old powdered D in that situation. It was I can't even stop laughing about that. So we move along, right, Paul? We move along.
That's it, man. What was the next match on SummerSlam?
It was the beautiful choreography of Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. And for the past 2 weeks, I bet at the WWE Performance Center, they really got a good run in there to get that one going. And Tiffany Stratton's a badass, right? Like, before there was Kalani Jordan from Michigan State, before there was Sol Ruka from fucking Oregon State, here's Tiffany Stratton. And I remember 2 years ago, I mean, she's a big girl.
Right.
Like, I didn't realize how big she was till at WrestleMania. She was stacked up with Charlotte Flair. And then I look over, and she is not much smaller. She was actually powering around Jade Cargill last night. And I was so pissed. I thought Jade Cargill was going to win. And then when I saw Tiffany miss that, the perfect moonsault or whatever, I was like, oh, she's going to fucking lose. And then when her foot got caught in the rope, I was like, okay, she's going to win. And then when she hit it the second time. So I think Tiffany Stratton is going to already is, but I think she's going to, don't take the belt off this girl, right? Do not. And especially don't put it on there. So when you see him make the right decision, and you got to humble Jade Cargill a little bit, and Triple H kind of said it at the end. He said, she's having she's like a ticking time bomb in the locker room, because I think she thought this was her night. Triple H is getting stuff over as well. What'd you think of Stratton and Cargill?
I'm assuming that I fell asleep because I don't remember that match at all. So,
yes, you did.
Like, yep, you did. But you know what? For me, it's my girls watching the women's wrestling portion, I think is the more important thing, because they get to see, like, the powerful women and getting to do these awesome things. But it sounds like, even though you just said they choreographed this match, sounds like they did a good job of getting you think, oh, dude, don't fucking take the belt off of her. Oh, she's not losing and all this. So sounds like they did some good storytelling. So that's always a good benefit, that you're kind of hemming and hawing back and forth. And
that's the best storytelling.
Right.
Is not even that is storytelling. Just the fact that I don't want her to win, because I think she's going to be great one day. I think she looks great. She's going to be a big star one day. Ultimate Warrior style, you know what I mean? But more athletic. But I'm like, don't take the belt off this girl. So the story for me becomes, oh shit, so they got me no matter what they're doing in that one. Hey, now my question is, you got 5 daughters, right? Are any of your daughters, since they run outside and tell you dad wrestling's on, are any of your daughters, I've never asked you, are any of them interested in possibly continuing the family business of the Mr. Isadora? Or are you just like, fuck no, you're not?
No, I would be okay with if they wanted to, but I don't think that they have any interest in doing that. My My two daughters that I was watching wrestling with yesterday are basketball players. So, so I don't know what their future holds, but I mean they're 15 and 12, so plenty of time if they want to go that direction. But
how cool
I
would
can
that
see maybe the 12-year-old getting into it. I don't know. She's a little bit more aggressive, and I saw a little mean streak in her yesterday when her little sister was messing with her. So it was I don't know, just funny stuff. So
Could you imagine like the Dudley boys, but the Isadora girls? You know what I mean? Like this tag team or trios of these Paul's monstrous athletic daughters just fucking destroying the women in the women's division. Well, I always go back and I'm like, we always talk about like Ugly's got he's got it like we got it, man. We're like obsessed with this shit. We'll be doing this till we're rotting in our graves. You know what I mean? And I always look back and I go, he's got Titus. He's got Bronson. He's got fuck, I forgot the little
Salem.
one. Yeah, no, I was talking about the little one.
Oh,
Fuck. God damn it. I'm sorry, Big Ugly. What's the youngest one's name? Oh, why am I fucking having a hard time remembering it? Do you remember his name?
I don't.
What the fuck is his name? I'm pissed off at myself right now. I've had him on the show plenty of times, but he's got the 3 kids, you know what I mean? And they're all into pro wrestling. And he's into pro wrestling. So it's like, it's never going to stop for him. You know what I mean? Even when he's decided, and I don't want to wrestle anymore, he's still got the company and he's still got the kids. And just
Right.
over and over and over. So I think that's just such a crazy thing is you got 3 boys and they love professional wrestling. And I always see the post where he's at the gym. So that's why I was asking you, because to me, it's crazy. Like if I had kids, I just couldn't imagine. And I wouldn't push it on them, but I would push it on them. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
wouldn't be like, do you want to do this? I'd just take them around and I'd just start doing it with them so much that they'd want to do that. But fucking really went off there. I think that's crazy for him, man. Is like, man, it's a busy lifestyle, man. That's a busy lifestyle. That'd be a fun one too. I bet he has a lot of fun with all that. And then we move along. Speaking of fun, Jelly Roll.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness, man. You know, I'm going to be honest with you guys right here. I love Jelly Roll as a musician, as a person, as a backstory. He's lost all this weight. And he gave Randy Orton the night off. That motherfucker gave Randy the night off. Randy came in for like a clothesline, a power slam, a DDT, and an RKO, got thrown into the pole, took a little bit of heat. Jelly Roll took this unbelievable splash from Logan Paul. Took another one at the end, too. And that fucking Logan Paul, bro, he jumped off the pole. Best frog splash in the business. He's got 2 versions of it. I have to stop throwing that maneuver because I'm older now, but even if Rob Van Dam was to try to throw it, nobody's got a better frog splash than Logan Paul. Nobody's as athletic. And the guy's starting to stack up against Drew McIntyre and fucking Randy Orton. He's not he's like 6'2", 6'3", but he's starting to get stacked up, man. This Logan Paul is going to be he already is, but he's going to be a fucking problem in the future. And I don't mean in a bad way, but Jelly Roll, man. And then to see him afterwards on the pre-show with Triple H and them talk about how hard he was working to move to Florida to train there, you could see how humble he was in his face. And that dude put in some work last night.
Right.
That dude put in an artist literally put in some fucking work.
Right. And I think there's another example of the little subtleties, right? That you see he's on the table, he's getting ready to get splashed, and I don't know, man, it takes a special person to just lay there and go, I trust this dude. This dude's gonna land safely on me, and we're gonna get this story told, right? And then, when he's kind of pushing the medical staff away because he sees like, hey, Randy's in some trouble here. He needs to get a tag. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take the tag, and and the few things that he did there, and then what was the finish? It was
Frog splash.
Well, I know, but what was the lead up to that? What was the bump that he took to set up for the frog splash?
Oh God, no
Yeah,
clue.
I don't remember what it was, but he took the bump and he landed not in the right orientation to take the frog splash. And it was just like a subtle, not like get up, move in the spot, lay back down. It was just like we would do it, right? You're looking like you're selling, but you're rolling yourself into the proper spot.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought that last frog splash, like, it wasn't the jump across the ring. It was just like jump so fucking high in the air and hit that frog splash. So it's just like, I don't know, just the little subtleties there. And just like you said, man, it's like, and I don't know if people still discount Logan Paul, like, kind of like it just in the moment right now, because it looks like that dude has put in a shit ton of work as well.
For sure.
Worked hard to get to the point where he's at right now, and you just remember the stuff back in the day where with Ricochet and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, you guys can go out there and choreograph a cool looking match and things like that. But now you see the other stuff, right? The crowd work, I don't know, just working on different stuff, and obviously to be able to, I don't know, like I've always taken pride in hitting a leg drop that I feel like I jump really high and I always land safely, right? So I don't know. I think it takes something special to do those things, make things look so devastating, but also make them safe where you're taking care of your opponent in the ring. So it's just kudos to that guy for doing those things.
I was asking who's coming out to save Randy Orton because Jelly Roll was doing such a good job. I'm like, he did his job. He took the brunt of the match. He's gone. They're taking him out. Maybe R-Truth was one of the guys I thought maybe was going to come out. And then I saw that look on his face. He told his wife, sorry, baby. And I was like, oh, no, this motherfucker's coming back in. He's coming back. He's putting in work. He's doing work tonight. And that's what we got to that main event. That's what CM Punk did. He put in some work, and he didn't even put in work like he was like physically in the ring putting in the work. He put in work on just getting the living shit kicked out of himself. And you got to respect that when you go in there for the night. And tonight for 25 minutes, I'm going to do some stuff, but I'm not going to do some stuff. I'm 90-10 in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? This guy's going to chop me, and he's going to chop me in the back, and he's going to chop my legs, and he's going to chop my thighs, and he's going to powerbomb me while he's holding my waist on the back of my fucking head. And there was one point Gunther picked him up and threw him into the fucking pole on the outside. And I thought it was really cool because as I'm watching this, I'm going, oh, yeah, Punk's winning the belt. And I knew Rollins was coming out because people slip and fucking give up shit all the time, which is why I hate social media for that. Fucking kayfabe. But he got on the table. He made his one mistake, right? And now he's bleeding. And I loved how the big tough guy was selling, like begging, kind of like almost begging off. Like it reminded me of when Rocky hit Ivan Drago in round 2. And Tony's over there and he's like, what's going on out there? And he's like, are you killing me? And he goes, well, what do you? I see 3 of them. And then fucking Paulie goes, hit the one in the middle. And then when they hit him, he busts him open. He is a human fucking being. And that's the story that I saw tell there. But it was greatly done. I was thinking they were taking too long because they were letting 5 minutes remaining in this podcast. I thought they were taking too long, right? Because I was like, fuck, Punk's recovering. And then they did that whole thing, and he dropped the fucking crutch. I'm coming, I'm leaving. I dropped the crutches. So I thought the finish was very well done. And we talk about that elongated storytelling. I think this story could go on forever, but it's definitely going to go on where CM Punk finally beats him at WrestleMania for that championship 100%.
Right. Well, the thing that I liked so much about the Gunther bleeding like that is when he rolled into the ring, it was almost like a sense of panic. Like I got this feeling that it wasn't supposed to happen, right? That's how how he sold it. He sold it like it wasn't supposed to happen. Like he got in the ring almost like fearful, like, oh fuck, what am I going to do right now? How are we going to get to the finish of this with me bleeding like this or whatever? So to me, it was like I was sold on that. Rolled in the ring, he was in the corner, like you said, begging off and things like that. Like I almost felt like, it was like almost like a panic, kind of like, oh shit, what are we gonna do right here? It was great, man. But
isn't it funny when it's done right?
Oh, it's awesome when it's done right. Yeah.
Oh, it still works.
Right. No shit, man. So, yeah, I mean that's the old school, like you think about Eddie Guerrero and Bradshaw, like that, the blood that was coming out that way, where you're just like, you're fearful of what's going on. Oh shit, this guy's really hurt. You feel like I've got the inside track. I'm a pro wrestler. I know how this works. And then when you get in the situation where you're like, oh shit, that looks bad or whatever, it's like, how are they gonna get where they need to be with this situation? And then coming to find out, it all went to fucking plan, and they got you. So that's always cool.
Well, we were talking earlier. You were messaging me. We're like, oh, they ran into each other. They, some of the choreography messed up a little bit, right? Like whatever. Right. They stuck with it, and that's the thing about good pro wrestling, man. If you just stick with it, if you just keep selling, that's what he did. He knew what his assignment was. I'm no longer going to call people jobbers. I'm going to call them the assignment. That's my new name for jobbers. I'm going to start because you go up to people and go, all right, I need you to put the squash, do the job tonight. No, the assignment. And that's what I really like about when we started this podcast. It was off the Scotty Ringer, that kid that was training for a while, Houghton, because the squash was done wrong and he didn't want to squash. And I think it's so funny now because over 70, this will be 71 episodes now. My guys, all my new guys, nobody's talking about character. Nobody's talking about anything else. They're like, Coach, I can't wait to get in there and get squashed. And I'm like, finally, man, let's bring back some jobbers. And I always tell people, like, you have an assignment. So make sure you do your assignment. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Serena, because Serena has requested, one of our faithful listeners and viewers, that we do one of these things and really focus on commentary. So I think it's about time to did we ever bring Doc on the show?
Well, I believe we did.
Fuck, so many episodes I forget. We haven't had a guest in a long time.
Right, exactly. And we need to, we definitely need to have another guest. So
surprise you.
Oh yeah, I will. I'll set you up with one. You'll get someone pop on the screen and you'll be like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't want to know who the guest is. Don't tell me.
Oh, I don't think you want that.
I do.
I think you're. Oh man, if I do that to you, you know what's gonna happen, man. It's gonna be great footage.
You know what's going to happen with 6 seconds left. What are we doing, Paul?
We're going over.
We're going over.
Subscribe, share.
Fucking subscribe, motherfuckers.